I think that kind of shifted my perspective on it. It's like my 14-year-old daughter getting peed on. You know what I mean? Like that thought of my daughter. So I did start thinking about girls very differently.
So was that a parenting goal at that point? Like, I just need my...
Yeah, look, my baby don't get peed on. Like, if I can make it to 15 and she not getting peed on by then, I've done my job.
And if she does, don't tape it. What up? It's Three Brothers No Sense. I am Tavares Ferguson, a.k.a. Ferg. Join my co-host, Razi and Buff. Fellas, what's going on with you?
F Caesar's Palace, and F Caesar's Palace.
So tell them how you really feel.
Yes.
Yeah, man, bruh, it's crazy. So first of all, I want to take a step back. Shout out to Michael McCoy and now Mrs. Michael McCoy, Alexis McCoy. We won't be misogynistic about it. Mrs. Alexis McCoy. So shout out to you guys. Beautiful wedding. We had a great time hanging out with all three of us, as well as everybody else in Vegas. Fun times, great times. But Caesar's Palace can kiss my sugar. Like it, bruh. It is. I'm so mad. You know, Caesar's Palace isn't all that great anyway. They're doing construction, so it's hard to get around there. It's a huge property. There's not a whole lot of tables. The minimums were horrible. They were super high. So it wasn't really a fun place to be at anyway. We had to go to other places to gamble. We didn't eat there most of the time. A lot of the restaurants are closed. It's just not a great experience right now. Anyway, get through it. Sunday comes around. We are ready to leave. Check out at 11. My flight wasn't until 4, so I had a bunch of time. And so I checked my bags with the bellhop because they don't have a bag room like most places, I guess, because they just have so many people there. Their bellhops take it and put it in the bag room. And then you got to, check it with them, and then you come back and get it. Done this millions of times as I travel. I travel a good bit. No big deal. Didn't think anything of it. Come back at 2 o'clock. My flight's at 4 to get my bags. They can't find them. 30 minutes roll around. I'm like, what's going on? 45 minutes come around. I'm like, what's happening? They like, we can't find them. We're looking. Hour rolls around. They're like, we found one of your bags. I'm like, okay, well, I checked 3. Where's the other 2? We don't know. We're still looking. I'm going to go look at the tape, see what we can do, see if we can find it. Hour and a half goes around. I'm still sitting out there at the bellhop trying to figure out what's happening. Hour and 45 rolls around. They finally call. The manager calls the bellhop at the front. I'm on the bellhop's cell phone talking to the manager, and I'm like, "Yo, I have a flight in 15 minutes. So what's the play?" And they're like, "Yeah, I can't find it. I'm gonna send security out there to get a statement. I can get you a car and get you to the airport." I'm like, I'm not going to make this flight. There's no way for me to get there, check my bag, get in. Even though I have TSA pre-check, I'm not going to make this flight. So y'all need to make this thing right. Luckily, he does go. He gets me a room. But then he comes and says, hey, my manager didn't want me to do this, but I made it happen and I got you a room. I was like, well, it was your fault. So this is not a big thing for you to give me a room. Y'all need to give me a room because I already got to change my flight and everything else. 2 days roll around. Sunday rolls into Monday. I finally get back to Atlanta, and my keys to my car.
Did they find your bag?
Nope, didn't find my bag. Don't care. They're acting like no big deal. Get back to Atlanta Monday night. My key was in my bag, so I had to get my car towed to the dealership to get it rekeyed. That took me 6 hours because I was in the parking deck. And I had to call somebody, and the tow people kept canceling because they're like, you're in the deck, we can't get it. You're in the deck, we can't get it. So I finally found somebody, got it towed, got the car to the dealership, got me a rental. I didn't get back to Birmingham until 7:30 at night on Tuesday. So again, F Caesar's
But your
Palace.
flight was supposed to leave 4 o'clock on Sunday, though.
Sunday. Yeah, exactly. 2 extra days trying to figure it out.
They found your bag, though, right?
Nah, and they acting like they don't care about it. They're like, yeah, we usually don't make people whole. That's not our responsibility. But we're gonna see what we can do. Send us what's in the bags, and we'll figure it out from there. So they still haven't told me they're going to pay for all my stuff. So I'm pissed. Caesar's.
Well, at least you had a good experience at Caesar's, right, Buff?
Don't even get me started. I didn't know they hit you with the we're looking out for you, Razi, by giving you a room, even though we effed up. I didn't know they hit you with that, because that definitely falls into my experience. I actually was gonna say Caesars for the end of the show, but I can get into it now if you want me to. Either one, but I'm gonna get them. I'm gonna get them. You know what I mean? So I definitely think your experience overall was much worse, Razi. I hate you had to go through that. It's nothing like landing from a long flight and then have to go through everything you went through. So my experience began from check-in. So from the moment we learned about this wedding, and also let me echo what Razi just did. Congratulations. We call him Bruce, even though his name is Michael McCoy. Congratulations, Bruce and Miss Alexis McCoy. I was honored to be a part of your wedding. I even embarrassed myself and got on the dance floor with my wife because she wanted to dance. Just really enjoyed ourselves out there. So thank you for allowing us to be a part of your ceremony. It was beautiful. But to touch on what Razi said with Caesar's Palace, from the moment I learned about this wedding, usually people know this by now, when a wedding party, books a hotel, they put away certain blocks of rooms, and they gave us the code. And I said, you know what? I'm so excited about this trip. I'm going to upgrade my room. So I upgraded my room. Whatever the rooms were that Mike set aside, I upgraded to what they call the Palace Premium King room or whatever.
Flex.
So, or so I thought. So when I get there, I check in, you know what I mean? We get to the room and listen, that is a long walk from front desk to your tower. And it's not like some of the other casino properties. Like, you actually have to go through some of the casino floor with your luggage and stuff. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So that's not fun in itself. So we get to the room, I walk in, and I'm like, I said, this ain't my room. I told Tabitha immediately, don't touch anything. I said, this ain't our room. We gotta go back downstairs. I'm already pissed because our flight from Denver to Vegas was delayed. So I'm pissed about that. We trying to rush and make our STK reservations, which turned out to be mid, by the way. But I'm not gonna dump on them. I'm not gonna dump on them because they at least made their mistake right. So we get back to front desk at Caesars, and he said, hey, Mr. Evans, is there any problem? I was like, well, this isn't my room. I slide him the key. And this is where my anger begins. So he was like, what do you mean it's not your room? So I show him the picture that I had saved from the website of what my room's supposed to look. And I took a picture of the room they gave me before I went back downstairs. I said, this is not my room. I'm supposed to have this. I show him the website picture, but this is what y'all gave me. So the first thing he says is that how that room looks right now? Yes. That's the room we gave you? Yes. And you just took that picture? Mother F, yes! So then he tries to tell me, oh, you know what it is? That room looks like that because of what side of the hallway it's on. Word.
Makes sense, right?
Word.
No?
So you telling me because it's on this side of the hallway, it's not 525 square feet, it's 300 square feet. Is that what you're telling me, sir? And that the couch is now invisible. So on this side of the hallway, Ferg, the couch is invisible. My room's supposed to have a couch. On the other side,
we're on a cruise ship. It's a cruise ship now. Yeah. We got an interior. See, if you got an exterior, it would have been different.
So
yeah, bro.
I'm like, nah, that's not it, man. So let me wrap it up. Basically, he tried to tell me that they didn't have anything else available and that I could come back tomorrow and see what they had. and he would give me some dining credits. I said, that's not gonna do it for me. He go get his little manager. His manager does all this typing in the computer, right? He's like, we don't have anything. He's like, oh, you know what? Oh, I just found you some, Mr. Evans. This is a great room. You're gonna love it even more than the one you booked. It's fantastic. It's huge. It has a his and her bathroom. Get to the room. It's the room I reserved in the first place. So he acted like he did me a favor by giving me what I actually paid for. And so,
well, lucky you, right?
Yeah, lucky. Yeah. How about that? I got what I paid for. How about that?
Yeah, maybe that's part of their manager training, right? It's like make them feel like you're doing them a favor.
Yeah, he probably
It's gotta be.
He probably just hit a bunch of keys.
Yeah, but it pissed me off.
Fake typing.
They really tried to play me like. Oh man!
I wonder if that was the same manager that on Razi.
I wonder. I definitely wonder that, man. But
oh, it's another person from this McCoy wedding.
They definitely got a long ass email from me, and I included Razi's predicament in it.
I saw.
So yeah, I wasn't even gonna go there, but that I'll let that be my beginning for now.
Well, Caesar's. I knew what to expect when I got there, so. It really wasn't anything. The best thing they did was let me check in early, at least. Even though I had to pay $60-something or whatever to check in early because I just didn't feel like waiting around there.
Oh, they made you pay? Okay.
Oh, yeah, they charge for that. Yeah, they charge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And the machine that we were like, nobody could get the machine to work except me. Like, for whatever reason, I was the only person that succeeded, so I guess that's a good thing. Yeah. But I'm going to talk about Vegas like this. Man, I needed Vegas. For all you guys that know or don't know, the month of March has been very tough for my family and I. We kicked off the month. Have we recorded since then?
No.
Okay, we kicked off the month March 3rd, as a matter of fact, with the passing of my grandmother. And then that following Monday, my dad had a heart attack. Pretty much was in a coma for a week. And then he passed on that next Monday. So within, call it 10 to 11 days, within a 2-week period, I lost my grandmother and I lost my father. And so Vegas was that escape I needed to keep me sane. I just needed some kind of positivity in my life, some good energy, some good vibes. And you guys definitely did a great job of taking my mind off of it. Speaking of, I got beef with the Bruces. I'm going to say it. I got beef with the Bruces. So did y'all go to wedding rehearsal?
Of course.
Yeah. I feel like y'all were there, right? I feel like I saw y'all. Cause I feel like I was standing in betwixt both of you.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So we went through the whole wedding, right? How it was supposed to go. We marched in, we walked in, yada, yada. You saw that?
We went from the beginning to the end.
The beginning to the end. Mm-hmm. Was there anything left off from the rehearsal to the real wedding?
So I can't count that high, but I'd say there was at least 2 major things that was kind of left off.
Okay. I'm a star. Was a tribute one of them?
It is.
not on the rehearsal.
Man. It was let me start by saying it was a beautiful tribute. Alexis lost her grandma, Granny, about 3 months ago. That's right, about right. 3 months ago, 99 years old.
December, I think. Yeah.
Alexis talked about her night and day. And then Mike lost his mother a month to the date of the wedding. So exactly a month ago. So there was a lot of, I don't even know how to say,
tributes, I guess.
Yeah, tributes. But there were some voids that they wanted to fill, and they did some beautiful tributes. But considering the last couple of months the last couple of weeks for me at that point, and probably the last couple of months for you, Razi, and just above, like it, I can almost say there was probably not really a dry eye or people sniffling all throughout the wedding. because the tributes were beautiful, but it caught me so off guard. And it took every fiber in my being to just not break down. I mean, I had to stare at this one little fly that kept flying over there by Buff's shoe for about 3 minutes. But it was beautiful, but it definitely caught me off guard. Beautiful ceremony. I was so happy to watch them do the thing. The highlight of the wedding to me was when Bruce went down there to get Girl Baby. You can't script it any better than that, man.
Yeah, it was.
You can't script. It was such a beautiful sight. I'm so happy for him. I know how much he wanted to have kids, and to have kids with such a beautiful wife and have such a beautiful family. I'm proud of those guys. So, like I said, I needed it. And I guess I'll end with this. Thank you guys for all the support, the love, to inspire you on air, to all my friends, family, my line brothers, everybody who's called, checked on me, sent flowers, food, finances. I mean, we've been truly blessed during this time period. If I ever doubted how much people cared, that went away last week, because there was such an outpouring of love and support. So to everyone, I thank you guys. I can never repay you. I don't know, I don't know what to do with my hands. I don't know. It's just, I don't know what to do. So thank you. And with that being said, let's get it started.
Let's do it.
So,
it's on me. I got,
You're not sure?
What did the plate say to the cup? Looks like dinner's on me.
It's so stupid. That was one of your better ones.
You all right? Not bad.
Oh, man.
Not bad.
That's one of your better ones. Yeah. I think your last two, I don't remember your last one, but I feel like that was...
Last one was pretty good. I forgot what it was, but it was decent.
Yeah. See.
Look at you on a mediocre joke streak.
Right.
It's the whale burger. It inspired me.
Yeah. Oh, that burger gave us everything. And I didn't get the gold bacon. I had
to. Yeah. The gold bacon. I had extra gold bacon on mine.
Yeah. All right. Who wants to go first?
I wanted to check with you. Did you want to go first, or you want us to do it?
I'll let y'all.
Okay. Well, as we have watched much of the Supreme Court nominee hearings, if that's what you want to call them, more like political theater and a little buffoonery. But as you know, we have the first Black woman that's hopefully about to become the first Black woman Supreme Court justice. And it got me to thinking about certain verdicts, not necessarily from the Supreme Court, but just, highly publicized cases. And I wanted to ask you guys, because I know we don't expect much from our justice system, so we're rarely surprised. But for me, every once in a while, there's a certain verdict that kind of hits you a little hard. So whether it's the George Zimmerman, all the way back to O.J. Simpson, what verdict in recent memory or far away history, what verdict has hit you the hardest that made you, like, even if you saw it coming, it hit you like, man, they really did do that?
For me, it's very simple. It was Rodney King. Simply because I think that was my first glimpse into the real world. As kids, we're taught, I would say for me, I can't speak for everybody, the police are good, like justice will prevail. Like, you're taught to believe in the system. And that's the first one where, I feel like my family and my parents had shielded me from what was going on in the rest of the world. And when I saw that and heard the verdict, and I saw the pain and just disbelief in my parents' faces, as a kid, I had to ask what was going on. And because, we had all seen the tape. How many times did we see the videotape? Like, it was on every news show, everything. Then to the can't we all just get along? Like, it was so much. It was so in. For them to get off was just crazy. Because I mean, like, it was. First of all, it was hurt because I couldn't believe the police would do such a thing. Call it naivety. Then I'm like, well, it's on video. Like, what else do you need? Like, it's not like they hit him once and it's like, okay, he accidentally hit somebody. Like, I saw them beating the shit out of this dude. And for them to get off and the reaction with the riots, which is so memorable, so it might not even just been the verdict. I think it was a whole setup leading up into the riots, and it was just like, it was a big thing. It was bigger than life. It was some stuff that I would think I would see on a TV show, in a movie.
So, two for me, and one of them some people might not like. I think Riley from the Boondocks might not like it, but when R. Kelly got off for peeing on the little 14-year-old girl.
The first time?
The first trial? Yeah. So for me, I was like, wow, you can pee on a 14-year-old girl and, nothing come of it. It showed me that I'm not black, I'm OJ is a thing for real. Like, you money and power and fame goes a long way when you want to get off on stuff.
It helps when your victim is a black female too.
Yeah. I mean, so it was just really, really sad that they allowed him to do that. And I get it, the whole we have the Weinsteins and all the folks who get off, and the white guys that do it too. And so, okay, yeah, one of ours got off too, but my thing is hold them accountable regardless, right? Like, just because they're a black famous person, and so we want to try to support them. It was sad to me that little girl didn't get justice.
What year was that?
Oof.
Oh, that was in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Early 2000s. Like, we knew about the tape in the late 90s, but the trial.
Did you feel that way then?
I did.
That's a good question.
That's surprising. I feel like we were so. I'll speak for myself. I feel like we were so part of this culture. Like, it was. I think most of it, like everybody else, I'm not gonna be higher than now. Like, we just saw it as like, yeah, that's messed up, but it wasn't a big deal because we grew up in that environment where young girls that age, from what I see or I've heard, young girls that age were messing with older men.
Right.
You went to the floor. You saw it too.
Yeah. So that was my thing. Is kind of like, man, I can't believe it was more so. It wasn't the fact that he was messing with a younger chick. It was the fact that he peed on her and taped it. Was more disturbing. Like, that dude crazy. Like, what the hell? It wasn't, man, I can't believe he's messing with an underage woman, girl.
Yeah, a little girl. And I think what happened was I had Haley by the time it happened. So, Haley was born in 2001. I think that's right as the trial was kind of ramping up. So, I think that kind of shifted my perspective on it. It's like my 14-year-old daughter getting peed on. You know what I mean? Like that thought of my daughter. So I did start thinking about girls very differently.
So was that a parenting goal at that point? Like, I just need my...
Yeah, look, my baby don't get peed on. Like, if I can make it to 15 and she not getting peed on by then, I've done my job.
And if she does, don't tape it. Like, it's a couple of... Oh, God.
So that one really got me. And, you know, you mentioned it, Buff. I think the other one was the Zimmerman trial. It was just so heartbreaking to see him get off after he initiated it. You can chase somebody down, you know, confront them, and then when they stand their ground, you can kill them, because at that point they can't tell their side of the story. It's just your side, so you basically can get off. And that's what it taught me, was that kill the other person, because you got a better chance of getting off, because you can tell the story, and nobody but you can tell the story. So
that was my second one. And it's funny that you actually call it the Zimmerman trial, which is so weird that subconsciously most people call it the trial of the victim. Mm-hmm. Trayvon Martin was that's who was on trial. Honestly,
and truthfully, that's how they did the prosecution. That's how it's like,
always the victim's trial. Prove to me that this little nigga boy was not a threat, and that he wasn't standing his ground, that George Zimmerman committed a crime and did something wrong. But for me, the trial was very polarizing, because I had just got married. I was thinking about starting a family. For everybody that knows me, I always wanted a son first. But that was the beginning of me second guessing having a son, because for the first time in my life, I thought about, how do I protect him? I can't protect that's a lot of pressure, protecting him from the world that just automatically sees him as a target. And I was scared. I mean, I was really scared. I remember being I think my cousin, my nieces were with me when we were at my house, and I heard the verdict, and I was just so like, man. And I was an idiot too, because I just felt like these young women were safer. I'm like, man, I'll be scared to have a son and how do you teach him how to navigate that world? Security guard stops you. Anybody that looks like their authority stops you, you just assume the worst. Do you fight for your life? Hell, I still don't know what to tell my son. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't know the answer.
Even if you comply, right? I can have my hands up and still get shot.
I don't know what to tell him. You know, You just said it's better to kill him. Is it? You know, so
for white people, not or you know, non-black people. Yeah.
And so for me, that reopened wounds of like, what do you do? It kind of reopened I think that was probably the first really big trial that I can remember that was national since, I would say, Rodney King. Like, I feel like that was the next big thing since Rodney King.
Yeah. So I got something to say on each case you guys named. Rodney King, what was crazy to me is like you said, Ferg, it's right there on video. And as a kid, because I know I was young, I forget exactly how old, but I'm like, there's no way they can beat this. It's right there on camera, and they beat it. And but mine is the one Razi, his second one, and your second one, Ferg. And it's the George Zimmerman trial. And I do try to be mindful to always call it the George Zimmerman trial, because it was called the Trayvon Martin trial for so much that I think I kind of started saying it at a certain point. But what's crazy about that whole thing is George Zimmerman was never going to be charged at first. He wasn't, like, forget that he beat it. He wasn't going to even be. He went home that night. He gave a couple of statements to the police. He rolled out. Social media is what really got him to at least have his day in court and get charged. But if anybody has seen A Few Good Men, there's a scene at the end when they read the verdict after Tom Cruise has gotten Jack Nicholson to admit he did the Code Red. There's a scene in there at the end where the judge reads the verdict, and they're like not guilty on murder or whatever, but they're guilty of conduct unbecoming. And I forget his name, but the white guy, because the white guy and the black guy that's on trial, he turns to the black guy. He's like, "What does that mean? Hell, what does that mean?" I felt exactly like that when I watched that George Zimmerman verdict. And it's like, you know how we as black people, we always prepare ourselves for the worst news. We always do. So I was prepared for a not guilty. But even with all that preparation, even with that, man, he's probably going to beat it. When they read that verdict, I had that same feeling old boy had in that movie. I'm like, yo, for real? What does that even mean? So he gets to kill a kid that was whooping his ass in a fight that he started? That's what we can do now? When the 911 operator told him, oh, hold tight. Don't get out your car. That's not your job. Don't do that. And so that's the one for me, because I prepared myself and it still hit me when they read that verdict.
It's so much. What was the big trial before George Floyd?
Oh, it was one right before that one.
I can't remember what it was because there's so many. But I will say this, and obviously it's not memorable enough because it's just running into the rest of them. But by that time, I think we were so used to being disappointed that I couldn't describe. I was trying to describe to a coworker what was going on. And I said, I can't explain it any better than there's a constant feeling of helplessness and hopelessness. Mm-hmm. And I think that is, unfortunately, you can kind of wrap the black experience in America around that. No matter how big or bad you are, like it might not happen to you, but when you see it happen to somebody else and you hear how this is like, there's nothing we can do. We can't do anything. I don't think it ever changed.
So I don't think it was. My bad, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was gonna say I don't think it was a trial, but was it Sandra Bland? We were hoping that the officer may get charged in that, and I think we've had so many non-trials to where someone gets killed and it's like, I know Michael Brown. Is that what it was?
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Michael Brown. That's what it was.
Yeah.
It's just, once again, camera. Like, what else do you need?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And when Razi brought up Rodney King, that whole filming, just the whole angle reminded me of Walter Scott and the guy that filmed that. Like, it's almost like that same angle. And it's like, this time we finally held someone accountable. And for the whole, if black people would just do like police say, just do everything they say, get your hands up. Yeah, tell that to Charles Kenzie of Miami, Florida, who was helping an autistic kid. The police told him to put his hands up. While he was sitting down, he's sitting there with his arms up and still got shot. Mm-hmm. So that's what we're saying. It's stressful. It's very stressful.
Man.
What do you got, Razi?
I'm gonna light it up a little bit.
Yeah, we need it. We need that.
Yeah. So I saw a post that it was a guy. He was, we've seen so many times where women say, why would somebody want to buy the cow if they can get the milk for free? And you don't do wifey stuff if you're not wifey and everything. But then he was asking her, he was like, but you want me to be emotionally there for you? Yeah. You want me to take you out and take care of you? Yeah. You want me to, come by and help you out if you need something? Yeah. So you want me to be husband and do husband duties to be able to marry you and date you, but then you don't want to do wifey duties because you're not my wife. And so natural progression of that, I want to know, you guys, you both are happily married. Byron, forever and a day. Ferg, you're going on 10 years now. But before that, you were kind of anti-marriage. So I want to know from you guys, does she have to be wifey before she becomes wifey? Does she need to do wifey duties, or do you expect wifey duties before you propose and she becomes wife?
I'm gonna say no with a caveat. It's not so much the duties that she has to do. I just feel like if you're gonna start feeling that way towards her, to where you feel like you can see her as your wife, it's because she's doing said duties that you know you can't live without or whatever. And the ones that she doesn't do, you know, if you still feel like you can make her your wife, that means you love her so much that you're willing to, you know what?
Roll the dice.
Yeah, roll the dice or look past that. But I caution that as well, because you don't want to temporarily put up with something and then down the line say, you know what, man, I can't stand the fact that she don't clean the house. Well, she wasn't cleaning when y'all was dating, big dog. And you said you would overlook it. Don't get mad now. So you got to be careful with that one. But I guess this is what I'm trying to say. She doesn't have to check every box of wife duties, but she needs to check enough. And I don't think there's any standard test. When you feel like that's the person for you, you'll know, or you should know.
So, you know, my answer is never going to be direct. Because I think people think they're doing wife duties, but they're really not.
You said a variation of this before. Yeah.
You know, it's, you said she's cleaning and stuff like that. That's just, you know, making a space comfortable, like, for us. I don't want to be with a nasty woman, you know? So, and I'm not saying you don't have to, or you shouldn't do it, but it's like, these are certain bare minimums that I consider when dating somebody. And then you continue to rise to the occasion. So all I can use is my example. Z, to me, the longer we're together, the more she brought. And I know what people, I guess it's taboo to say bring stuff to the table now. She started bringing more and more stuff to the table that I didn't even know I needed or wanted. She was a breath of fresh air before we got married. But the things she brought to the table that neither one of us knew that we needed, or that were things that would make the marriage better, you can't figure it out until you're married. Like, it's certain things that, you know, like, you act like you're married, but only person that says it's like being married is somebody who's not been married. All that changes. Like, it changes. It's so much. I can't even put my finger on it. But she was great before marriage, and I thought I had everything I needed. But when we got married, she just kept shocking me on the things that she just kept bringing that I didn't know what I needed. She didn't know she needed, that we didn't know was a part of a successful and a healthy marriage. And I think those are the things, ladies, don't give yourself too freely. You know, set your bar, set your standards. Then as you grow in a relationship, those things will become natural. But it's until, and maybe I'm wrong, it's my opinion, because I've seen people that have dated for 10, 12 years get married and they're divorced 2 years later. Because it's like we're already married. No. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about that ring of, I call it the ring of power. When you put it on her finger, it's like one ring to rule them all. Yeah, ladies, you don't have to play house. You don't have to do all that stuff. Don't do it because you have to. Do it because you want to. Do it because it's natural. Do it because, I think for Z, I can only speak on her, the things she does and continues to do, because she truly has a vision for our marriage and our life. And she's not doing it for me. She's doing it to strengthen our marriage. And that's the difference. When you're not just doing stuff for him, I just happen to be lucky enough to be on the receiving end of those things. Do it because you want a strong, healthy marriage. And that's all I got.
So you said they don't need to, and they don't need to give it, but you really made my case. You're the one, I never forget this. You would always walk around when you were dating, you'd say, you'll be my lady before you become my lady. Yeah. And I always use that. I was like, you're going to be my lady before you become my lady. And I feel the same way about wifey. I'm like, you're going to be wifey before you become wifey. And not like you said, because you're doing it because you got to check the blocks and she needs to be all this thing. It's when you talked about she's giving herself freely, right? She's in it with you. You feel like she's in it with you. Every decision that you make, or every decision that she makes, she's like, how does that reinforce our relationship? She's moving with you. And so that's what I look at when I think of wifey. It's like she sees that long term, okay, we're together. We're going to be together. So I want to make decisions that make sense for both of us, not just me. It kind of goes back to that whole independent equals single that I always talk about, right? It's like, if you want to make decisions for just you, then you aren't wifey at that point, right? We are in a relationship. We might be together, but you're not wifey, right? You're doing your own thing. So for me, it's you become wifey, and I'm ready to propose, I guess is the thing, right? When are you ready to propose? I'm ready to propose when I see that. When I see that you are all invested, that you want to grow with me. Like you say, you can continue to grow and do better things and provide new things. But what happens is Z did that because she saw that, oh, our relationship needs this. And so I can fill that gap. And so I'm going to do things. I'm going to make a move to fill that gap, and I'm going to bring something new to the table. And so when they're in that mindset, I feel like that's wifey to me, and that's how you become wifey.
I'm going to put this disclaimer out there. I give Z a lot of credit for being this great woman, but she might have just gamed me the whole time. She might have just like, yeah, I'm going to play this dude. 2 years, I got it.
No, I mean, I was there when you were dating. Like, I know Z was all in on it. Z moved out there with you because she wanted to be in a relationship with you. Z stood by you when, you were going down
broke.
these business ventures and you were broke.
You can say
yeah.
it.
Well, and not just that, not just the broke part, but you were, like, you talked about these get rich quick schemes and all that. Like, you were going through trying to find your way and trying to find the thing that could provide for your family. And Z was right there. Like, what do we have to do? Oh, you got it. You not sleeping. I'm going to bring food up to you while you're working and stuff. Like, I saw all of that. Z was all in with you, bruh. And so I knew that she was wifey for you before you proposed. And I think so often women want to continue to be independent. They want to continue to move their own down their own path. And then it's like, why isn't he proposing? Why aren't we getting married or whatever? Well, you're not moving with him, right? You're moving beside him. You're moving generally in the same direction, but you're not moving with him. And I think once you start moving with him, that's when it's time to actually get married.
Or you're checking a set of boxes. We talked about this before. A set of boxes that you think that bring additional value to the relationship. When it's kind of like, I appreciate this, but this is kind of the norm. And not discrediting what you guys do, but it's also, even when we talk about Kevin Samuels, I always say, I very rarely hear any of the women say what sets them apart to make this, what does he call them? The
high value man
that you're seeking. You told me what makes you great, but what makes you different from anybody else that has that same qualification? Because our black women are killing it in the game. You got your own business, you got your own houses, you're doing all this stuff. Great, sis. Hey, hats off to you. So does she. Cause y'all killing it. I'm not even trying to be funny. Y'all killing it. So why would he choose, or why would you stand out? Because it's not about choosing. I don't want to make it belittle the situation. What makes you stand out compared to the person next to you? And it's those little things that you never know that you need. And you're saying like, it was things that I don't think I've ever had anybody support me like that and walk with me. I had support when I could call you guys and ask for anything, but I had to call and reach out, or you'll check on me, but like in the trenches with me, because she saw the value. Don't get in the trenches with everybody, ladies. Because that's also I think you guys, a lot of you give so freely, and I hate that you have to do that. I hate that you keep, a lot of women are, giving so freely and putting it out there, and guys don't reciprocate it or value what you bring to the table. But be cautious. It's a balancing act.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm talking the step after you've chosen him, right? After he's doing the right thing, after you really want to be wifey to him, then where's the next step? How do you actually become wifey? And so I think that's how you move from being the girlfriend into being wifey material and getting proposed to by those high value men and those good men. I won't even call them high value men, because the thing is, when Kevin Samuels says high value men, he's only talking about somebody that makes 6 figures, yada, yada, yada. I'm talking about the good guy that may make $60,000 a year or $50,000 a year, but he is a good man, and he's going to take care of you, and he's going to be there with you, and he's going to make sure that y'all relationship work. That guy has to see that in you. He has to know that you got his back and everything, no matter what, before he's going to actually pop the question and take his $50,000 a year and go spend $10,000 on a ring and be ready for another 10 to 15 on a wedding or whatever. Like, that guy who's doing that and spending 25% of his annual salary just to marry you, like, that dude right there has to really, really know that you're the one. And so it's gonna take him a while.
But you look like you got something to say.
Nah. I was gonna say, do women still want that guy? But I'm not gonna do that.
There are some women that want high quality men out there. You know, the ones that come on Kevin Samuels asking for that. I mean, I think it's all a ploy and all that. But there's women that just want a good guy that's gonna respect them, treat them right, love them the right way, and that can make them happy. I mean, I know they're out there.
And lay it down, because what if he did all that and couldn't lay it down? Like, most women be like, nope, can't do that.
That is true.
Okay, my bad.
They say, is that too much to ask?
Oh man, that's hilarious. So I'm gonna bring it back, and maybe this won't last too long because I think we've had this conversation before. But I made a post the other day, and when I saw the movie, The Black Panther, this quote stood out to me during the movie. And it was probably like 5 minutes. I missed the 5 minutes after that because I was reflecting on that, and you know how I do. So the quote is, "A man who has not prepared his children for his own death has failed as a father. Have I ever failed you, King T'Chaka?" So the reason I ask this is, and it doesn't necessarily have to be just a dad. What are the biggest life lessons or qualities that you would say your parents have taught you? And I think we've talked about this before, and so we have new listeners. What are the biggest life lessons, like dad goals, that you have for your kids that you can teach them?
Yeah, I definitely have answered this, but for the new listeners, my dad actually taught me by what he didn't do. And, you know, my dad, as a kid, I felt like my dad was extremely fun to be around when I hung around him. Very loving guy, very giving guy. Like, whatever I asked for, if he could get it, he would. And because I enjoyed spending time with him that much, it hurt when I couldn't, or he would, you know, not keep his word, which is a nice way to say lie, about spending.
Tell a story.
Well, I mean, like,
couldn't say lie back then.
Exactly. So, you know, feeling that and remembering how that felt, I pretty much vowed to myself when I would, if I had kids, that I would not only be there, spend time with them, but like literally set aside an entire day throughout the year randomly, not just on their birthday or some, like, just a random day, and we hang out and spend time. And since I had a daughter, I called it Daddy-Daughter Day, and I did that for years. And so, you know, from him, you know, and I know it sounds like I'm hard on my dad. I actually cut him slack. That generation, what he went through, I'm not excusing it, but I feel like I understand. He dealt with a lot of stuff. And we definitely had some great moments together. But that is one of the things that stick out to me, to where I said, if I become a father, that's what I want to be. And something he told me, you said, Razi, what are our goals for our kids? It's simple. Something he told me, because, you know, he served in the military. I felt like he was a cool guy, you know, and I must have said something along the lines of, I want to be like you when I grow up, or something like that. And he said, no, absolutely not. I want you to be better than me, son. And for as great as I try to be, Didn't know this was gonna almost make me choke up, but I'm gonna keep it gangster. He told me he wanted me to be better than him, and for me, I just want to ask him to be better than me. You know, whether that's in education, career, hell, be an even better parent than I am. I feel like I'm a pretty good parent, but you know, I just want her to be better than me in every aspect.
I'm gonna ask you this one follow-up question. Do you think you put additional stress on yourself to make sure you accomplish those goals?
Probably. And the reason I say that, it's been 2 instances recently in talking to Tabitha. And it's not even like parenting, but just, it's still family related to where, you know, we getting ready to remodel our home. And it had been weighing on me, and I said it out loud. I was like, man, I just don't know if we have enough money set aside for everything that we want to do. And it was so, and I didn't tell her this, but I'm so thankful she said this. She was like, if it's not enough, we just won't get it done. I mean, we'll wait and get it done later. There's no rush. Like there's no deadline. Don't stress over that. That made me feel good, because whenever you can't do something that you want to do for your family, you feel like a failure. And even though I haven't even failed at it yet, just the thought of not having enough to do everything we want to do is like, so I'm already beating myself up about it. And the other thing is, I forget what it was. It may have been like a trip or something. Like, we got a whole bunch of trips scheduled this year, and I may have said like, there's a chance we may not be able to do this one. Like, we're spending a lot of money this year. She was like, okay. I mean, we've been enough places, you know, we'll go more places. That kind of stuff makes me feel good, because maybe I do add pressure on myself, and she, I guess, sees it.
Yeah, that's dope, man. Like, I think for me, the biggest thing that I got from my dad, and I think I talked about this at his funeral, right? It's like how to be a man and still love openly. Like, you guys know my dad was like the goofiest guy. Like, he would give you a hug and stuff like that. And for an Italian immigrant growing up in the 60s, that's not how you do things, right? And so for my dad to really be so loving, I told the story at his funeral about being able to wake up at 12 o'clock at night and him being up and us fixing a bologna sandwich with a little bit of mustard on it and on the toast, and sitting down and watching Superman and Speed Racer. Y'all remember the old Superman, the black and white one? We'd watch that, and then Speed Racer would come on right after that. And I remember that like so vividly, that he would just sit there and like throw his arm around me. We sit there and just watch, TV. And he wouldn't rush me back off to bed or whatever, because he wanted to spend that time with me and everything. And so, I do that with Oliver, right? I love on him, and I hug him. I'm like, I want you to be a loving male. I want you to grow up and be emotionally intelligent. So I think for my dad teaching me, that was huge. And what it did is it made me become a real man. And it made me define what manhood was very differently than a lot of people. And what I really want to impart on my kids, truthfully, is not to have that pressure. The same thing that you're talking about, Byron, about like just having to be perfect. I really want to teach my kids that it's okay as long as you try it hard. As long as you try it hard, we can get through it. I'm going to teach you, and I'm going to give you the tools to make good decisions, right? I'm not saying just try, fail, and be destitute. But at the same time, I want you to be able to live a good life and be comfortable and happy with the life that you live. Whether it is living in a mansion and making $200,000, or if it's making $50,000 a year teaching and you love that because that's what you love to do. I want you to know that it's okay either way. And so to take that pressure off to succeed, because, our parents, or a lot of parents, it's like, you're going to college, you're going to be a doctor, you're going to succeed, you're going to get out of here, because we grew up or I know I did, but we grew up poor, right? And so the idea was you got to get out. And I guess now that we've gotten out, I don't want to put that pressure that they got to go out and they got to do that too. I want them to feel comfortable being middle class is probably the best way to put it.
Okay, that's a good one too. I mean, you guys are spitting. So for me, I'm gonna stick with my dad. And anybody that knows my dad knows he never met a stranger, right? He could talk to anybody. Always connected. Everybody knew him. So he taught me to be confident and have presence. And that has gotten me far in life. And it's not fake confidence. It's truly being comfortable in your skin because you prepared and you worked hard for it.
Yeah.
You know, knowing that you're good enough. So backstory, I grew up in the suburbs of Dallas, Addison and Richardson. So anybody from Texas, because, you know, Texans are really big about, you know, that's not really Dallas. But I grew up in the suburbs and I was, you know, there's a lot of times I was one of the only black kids, if not the only black kid in a class or even a grade. But he taught me to be confident. You're just as smart, if not smarter than the rest of these kids. If you apply yourself, you can do it. And that's gotten me this far. What I realized that recently, the pressure that came with that for me is and this is going to sound arrogant, and I hope that's not the reason I want to say it. I feel like I'm good or above average at most things. Not great. I'm not like a master of any one thing. But because I'm good enough or above average, it's like because I know more, I try to do more. And so it's, okay, financially, you're above average. You ain't rich, but now you got to do more. Most people don't get this opportunity to make this type money. So you got to go out there and make it happen, create a legacy, do all, you got to, like, it's always, well, you have a chance to, you have insight on this, you have insight on that, you have experience in this. So it's always putting that pressure on myself to do more because it's like, I remember growing up, if I failed at something, he would always ask, did you do everything you could? And if I didn't, I felt bad. If I did, I still felt bad, but it was a little more acceptable, right? And so I apply that to my adult life. So when it comes to my marriage, when it comes to my finances, when it comes to almost every aspect of my life, it's like, did you do all you could? And it's like, nah, you could have did this. And it's just, it starts at the end of the day kind of being draining because you're trying to do everything you could on everything. That's a subject for another day. Remind me to talk about that one day. But it's a gift and a curse because I want to instill that confidence in my kids. But I want to, because of the pressure I'm putting on myself, I want to eliminate that pressure for them. Might be counterproductive, right? But I want them to be confident in being themselves. I want them to understand that whoever you are, you're good enough. As long as you try and don't give up and you truly believe you've done everything you can in a positive way, then I can't ask any more of you. Because they're going to fail. They're going to succeed. I'm always going to love them. But I never want them to be scared to try. But also don't want them to put too much pressure on themselves to be perfect. Because people you try to be perfect. Like, nah, I'm too logical to believe in perfection. So that's not happening. But I always try to make the best decision. And that's the problem. When you try to make the best decision on everything. So.
Yeah, you end up with analysis paralysis, right?
Yeah.
We talk about that all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all I got, fellas. What you got?
Man, the only thing I have for parting shots is, it's been a while since we had a chance to record. And so haven't had a chance to really talk through a lot of the things that are out. It's nerd land wise, but the new Kirby game is coming out. Yay. So that comes out tomorrow. So it'll be out by the time this drops. So for all the parents out there that with kids that like the Kirby game that's out there. And Turning Red is a new movie on Netflix that's getting a lot of flack, but the Asian American community loves it. I think it was a great movie. The kids really, really like it. So if you want something, it does have a couple of adult themes. They kind of mention periods a little bit in there.
Plus, right?
Is that, Disney Plus. That's like the Red
Disney
Panda
Plus?
one?
Yeah.
The Red
Disney.
Panda, yeah. It's Disney Plus?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I got them all. I don't know. I just be watching stuff. So, yeah, Disney Plus.
Flex.
But it's a really good one, man. But I say watch it with your kids though, because there are some things that
Sky definitely asked,
may have some questions about.
She definitely asked with her pads.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So how'd you answer it?
I don't know. Z took it over. I was gonna tell her, but Z kind of wanted to shy away, and then she got back into the movie.
Oh, that's sweet. I was like, because Ollie brought it up, and I was like, oh, that's when somebody gets periods, and they were like, what's that? I was like, that's when a woman bleeds once a month, and he was like, oh, okay, and started watching the movie again. Like when they ask me questions like that, I talk to them straight scientifically, but I'm like, this is what happens, this is what it is. So I don't know, I'm weird like that, but yeah, there's no shame when it comes to it with me.
Okay, all right. So at the top of the show, Razi told you guys everything he went through. Ferg has been dealing with a lot. And, we recently partnered with Inspire You, and we have been extremely happy to be on their platform, kind of let them down. And I just wanted to be transparent and tell the ladies behind Inspire You, that's our bad. I know Razio is kind of like our liaison to you guys, but upon knowing everything he was going through on that Sunday, I definitely should have stepped up and taken the lead on that one. So I want to take some of that blame on that. And I want to talk about Vegas some more, and that it was just great seeing you two, Freddie Hooley of Truth Be Told Sports.
Yes.
Man, I hadn't seen him in maybe a decade. I don't know. I can't remember. But saw Hooley, Wendell, who I've talked about on this show before. I think I already said Freddie. It was great to see everybody come together for such a great occasion. Had that $100 burger that Razio talked about. Nobody ate it by themselves, by the way. And to be honest, I no longer feel bad saying it's $100. When you look at everything it comes with, and the fact that it's pretty much 2 meals, you could do a lot worse. But it was good. And last but not least, on the final day in Vegas, we all went to a concert. If the Culture Concert Tour comes near your area, check it out. Jodeci, Charlie Wilson, New Edition. And I'll just say this about Charlie Wilson. You cannot say that man does not earn his money.
He does.
Oh my God.
The funniest thing about the Charlie Wilson part was I realized I was officially old when this dude started bragging about the surgeries he had, and people were cheering it on like we are with the old folks. And I done had a back surgery and 2 knee surgeries, and they're like, yeah, get it. I'm like,
it was a New Edition concert. It felt like a Charlie Wilson concert.
Yeah, Charlie.
Yeah, like his show was. I really do feel like his show was better than New Edition's show. Like he carried that show.
It definitely was just as long.
Yeah, and so I will say this about the show: be prepared to be entertained, because you're gonna get a Jodeci concert. You're going to get a Charlie Wilson concert. You're going to get a New Edition concert. You're going to get a Belle Biv DeVoe concert. Yep. You're going to get a Johnny Gill concert. You're going to get a Bobby Brown concert.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so drink a Red Bull, get your sleep.
You ain't lying.
Come ready to dance and groove. But if you can get away from, you know what? We were Vegas'd out too. You know what I'm saying? That is not a concert you go to because as great as the music was, it wasn't bangers that's gonna have you just like, hey. It was a groove, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it was such a groove, and you already tired. You're like, oh man, I'm grooving. Oh, I'm grooving. I done grooved myself almost to a nap.
Mm-hmm.
But it was super dope, man. Bobby needs to get in the gym. Bobby gave out my song.
I came for that though. I came for that. I wanted to see Bobby miss a step or two. And
they didn't walk off the stage.
Jodeci wasn't drunk, but was it Devontae that busted his ass?
Yeah, bro. What was your third? You wanted three things.
No, those were the two. Those were the only two. I wanted to see Bobby kind of mess up a little bit, and he did.
Oh, Bobby
and I don't know if he messed up or if he just said, I ain't doing that spin. Nah.
Which spin? But I would say, them boys, New Edition. So I don't know if y'all remember like seeing footage of them right after that New Edition biopic dropped on, what was it, BET or whatever? Because they were performing like at the BET Awards or something like that. Like, oh, it's New Edition. Like, ooh, that ain't New Edition.
Mm-hmm.
Them boys was New Edition.
Yeah.
Them boys
they're on
were
point
crisp.
now.
They were on 90s. They were on it. I was like,
oh yeah. Sarge from the Five Heartbeats would have been happy.
Yeah, they were on it. So great concert. So was that it, Buff?
Yeah, that's all I had.
Okay. So I'm gonna close out with this. I wanna take a moment to shout out my family. If you guys listen to the show, I'll be praying for you and with you guys. What doesn't kill us makes us stronger. I know it's been a very tough month for us on so many levels. To my grandmother, Pinky Carter, you will be missed. To my dad, Kenneth Carter, Kenny, Big Kenny, you know you're gonna be missed. Back to that quote, you did not fail. As much as I talk about, the bad sometimes with dad, you definitely did a great job raising me and helping make me the man that I am today. I would not be who I am without you. So I do want to make sure you know that. And I think I hope beyond hope that you felt like you received your flowers when you were living. So I'm going to close with that and then go into a moment of silence and say, people, you never know what tomorrow's going to bring. Make sure the people that you love, you give them their flowers today because you don't know what tomorrow brings. Moment of silence. This is Three Brothers No Sense. 6 Rules of Podcast. Listen, like, share, subscribe, comment, and most importantly, listen again. We will see you next week.